Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Joan here. And before we get into today's topic, I'm going to answer a few questions that my friend Cheryl asked me. I literally posted on Instagram stories. If anyone has any questions, you can ask me. And she is the one true supporter that did ask me questions. So shout outs to Cheryl. Really appreciate you. And so her questions are favorite artist slash band slash group you have seen live. And my go-to answer all the time is Justin Timberlake. I've seen him live twice and I've always enjoyed his concerts. Another would be Fall Out Boy because as a group, they're so good. And then just hearing them live, they always get the crowd going, just as their songs do. So I really like them. And then this one just happened by chance. I was during Fashion Week in a store and Neo was performing. I didn't know. I actually just said oh, I noticed that the radio's playing Neo. And then lo and behold, he was actually performing live. So he sings exactly how he sounds on the radio. That's my experience. And her other question is top 3 favorite foods. And if you watch the vlogs, you would know that I love Korean food. So it's always sundubu, yeah, and kimchi jjigae. Between those two, I love soups, especially when I'm sick. I always get those kind of soups. 2 would probably be an acai bowl. I can never get enough of acai bowls, and I've always kept trying different kinds at different stores and different places, thinking that maybe there'll be a difference, but it's always made me happy and fulfilled. And 3rd would probably be a pesto pasta of anything, just because anything with pesto I love. So if there's anything with that, yeah, those are my 3 go-to stuff. I know back then I would say French fries, but I try my best to eat better. And so now we're gonna get into today's topic, which is right person at the wrong time. And you might relate to that. That is a common topic situation that people go through, and I have also experienced that. And to start it off, my old best friend used to tell me that he believes that if people break up, that if they try again in a relationship, then it's not going to work out, because if it didn't work out the first time, then it's not going to work out again the next time. But to each their own. That was his mentality at the time, and who knows, people might believe in that things can happen again in relationships due to, for example, like J-Lo and Ben Affleck getting married after the second time around. Who knows? But after my best friend said that to me, I start thinking about it, and maybe they jinxed me, because as of my experience, it's just always happened that it didn't work out again, even if I tried again. So then I kind of kept thinking that what they said was true. But maybe if you comment down below, maybe you feel that it's the other way around and that they are wrong about that. And so why do people get into these type of situations? And for me, I feel that you just never know when you're going to meet someone that you will be attracted to or vibe with or get along with. And so when it happens, because it's not predictable as much as we'd like it to be, then it all depends on timing. And most of the time, 2 people are not in the same space and time where they could work out, if that makes sense. So even if you have caught feelings, that person that you might be attracted to could be in a different place in their life, and then you could be in a different place in your life. And then at first you might think, because everything seems like it's going well, that you end up wanting to progress, but then in reality you start to realize that both of you are not in the position to be a thing. So there's that. And then there's the question mark after you realize that. Do you still continue, or do you just end it, or do you just wait and hope that eventually things will be different, or do you give space and do other things where you focus on yourself, or you just instead be with other people who fits your schedule and things like that, or whatever is on your agenda, and then go back. And there's just so many different options that, because we don't know what should be the exact answer, we have to try all these options until we figure it out, when we feel that whatever decision we end up making is right. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating because at first, when everything is working out well, you don't want to look for someone else. You tell yourself, I finally met this person that is in sync or aligned with me, so I'm going to want to just stick with this. I just want to be with them because everything right now works out. But then that's just not how life works, unfortunately, where you hope that it only, like, as if life just revolves around you two. And in the beginning of any relationship, that's just how it always begins. It starts with you two. But then things change when after time passes and you have to accept the fact that other aspects of your lives matter, and it's not always just going to be you two, unless you're just really that stubborn and you just really find ways to just leave it like that. But it's bound to not happen because you need to have a career of some sort. You have family. Those are people that you can't necessarily avoid. And then you have other just different elements in your life that in the end you have to implement it in your life. So you as a person has all these elements, and then the other person has all these other elements. So then it's like, to combine it into one world, it gets complicated. And then it, like I said, it gets back to that question mark, like, do you still continue? Do you try to work on it together, or do you just stop and give up? And how long does it take for you to realize if you should still continue? Or how long does it take for you to realize that it's just not working anymore? We all don't know the answers, and I think that's something as a reminder that we all are people who are in different journeys in our lives. We've all experienced different things. So despite you and that person can be at the best place today, tomorrow can definitely change. And because of whatever, I'm not saying like because you guys are two different people that it won't work out. That's what makes things beautiful, when two people are different and then they figure out how to make it work. But also that could go against you, and then instead of helping the whole relationship, it just ends up tearing both of you apart. So in my experience of the right person in the wrong time, if someone ever asked me, when I was growing up, there was this person who was my first crush ever in my life. And that person knows that. And I just thought that it was just a crush, that like after that I would never see that person again. It would never become anything. And so I moved on. I just focused on school and my friends and every other thing. And then years later, teenage years, this person came back into my life again, despite the fact that they moved, they literally had no contact with me. They came back into my life and showed up and said, hey, like, are you Joan? Are you the person that I went to school with? And I'm like, yeah. To the point that we started communicating again, but we didn't date or anything. We just literally talked on the phone just about a lot of miscellaneous things, like, oh, like, what are you doing? What shows are you watching? And then after that, we always missed each other. Not like I miss you, missed each other. Like every time we would try to see each other, it didn't happen. It would be like I would be on vacation in another city or country, and then that person would come here to Jersey, and then we just never meet. So I always thought to myself it was just not meant to be, and I accepted that. I wasn't like seeking anything to happen. And then every time I was in a relationship, that person was not, and then it would be vice versa also. So then that was also like made me believe it was not meant to be. And then it got really dramatic to the point where this person was telling me, I think we shouldn't communicate anymore. I am going to leave for the military, and then that's it. Never heard from them again. And I was like, okay, like if that's how you feel, if that's what you want to do, then so be it. So that person ended up disappearing for years again, and I focused on my life. And then, you know, there were times where I would think about this person and wonder like what they would be doing in their life at that moment. And I think that's a question that maybe many people ask, like, oh, people that you have some sort of association with or relationship with in the past, or some sort of connection, like, do they ever think about you? And it's like, yeah, for me, I think about people that I've encountered in my life. It doesn't necessarily have to be romantic, but I do think about people from time to time, even if we don't talk anymore. Sometimes there'll just be something that will remind me of them. But the question is, do you even tell that person? Do you reach out once you are reminded of that thing? Like, do you tell them that you thought of them, or do you just keep it to yourself? So I kept it to myself. Or maybe I would tell a friend I didn't know them, but I would but I at the time didn't tell that person, hey, I was, you know, concerned or wondering about you. Then one day I went for a run at night with my friend, and then all of a sudden I got a message. It was like, hey, it's me. That sounds like the Taylor Swift song. And they said, just wanted to reconnect a bridge and see if you were interested in communicating again. And I was a bit upset and just flustered, because it was just the fact that this person always had the control of coming in and out of my life whenever they felt like it. I never told them, hey, I don't want to talk to you anymore. But this person always wanted to close the door, open the door. And then I was just like, okay, like, sure, yeah, we could talk and let's see what this is about. And it was just me being very just angry and just hearing whatever it is update they've been up to and things like that, and catching up. And then to the point that, so my point of this whole story is that for years I've always thought he was the right person, but I've always thought it was the wrong time, because every other year or every time we've encountered each other, it just never felt like it was meant to be. But I didn't lose my mind over it. I just was like, okay, like, I guess not, and just moved on, just kind of accepted it. And then, so going back, so after the run, after the update of each other's lives, we just happened to be both single. And then after that, we were just like, or I was like, I'll admit it, I was like, oh, like, why won't we just try this out? Since for many years there's always been the what if, and the what if thought sucks the most. When you have these thoughts about if things would work out with a certain person, and you never know, and you don't know if you'll ever experience it. So now this was like the time I felt like we can finally experience this. So we did, and we didn't survive because we're not together anymore. So was he really the right person at the wrong time, or was he always just a person that was not the right person for me? That I don't know the answer, but as what it seems right now, since we are not in a relationship, so maybe he is the wrong person, and maybe it was always the wrong time. I don't know. But to be, how can I say this? To defend this person, not that I have to, but this person was always, from all the other people I've ever dated, he has been the person that has been one of the most thoughtful people in my life. Someone who really believed in me in times when I didn't believe in myself. This person was the one who pushed me and try to find situations or ways for me to get motivated again and find just hope in whenever I felt lost. And this person really did the most to make it work. And we didn't work for other reasons, but out of all the different relationships I've been in, that person I would consider as one of the best people I've ever been with. But still, I have always thought it was the right person but the wrong time. But then finally experiencing the relationship, I don't know if I would still consider that person the right person. So if that person is watching, hi. I don't know what else. Maybe you do watch my videos still, who knows? We haven't spoken. But that is something that I think, again, a lot of people think about from time to time when they're attracted to someone. Is that person the right person, but it's just the wrong time? And because of that experience, I learned that I should be more open and expressive and tell people how I feel, because who knows anymore when things are the wrong time, unless the universe is really like pulling both of you like far from each other, pulling each other away from each other. Because let's say if you keep trying and trying and trying, and the person also is trying and trying, but then for some reason every other thing that you guys like, it's like Romeo and Juliet, no matter how much you try to be together, but then every other thing pulls you apart, then what does that mean? Does that mean that it's just not meant to be, that you guys are not destined for each other? I don't know, but those situations can happen. And I think the worst scenario with the right person and the wrong time is when someone really makes you believe that you are really well put together, like being together, but then they end up suddenly just dropping you. So then you ask yourself, is this the right person but wrong time? Or is this person really just not a good person? They just made you believe that they were the right person and it's just the wrong time, but it's just that person has never been the right person. They were always the wrong person. There's no good time. It's just all terrible all together, but you just believe that first that person may be the right person. That whole situation sucks. I hope that no one whoever's watching this has to go through that situation. And if you feel like you're in that situation, maybe this is a wake-up call for you to realize that there are other people out there that would appreciate you more and that will treat you better, and you don't have to be stuck with someone that doesn't acknowledge how good of a person you are and that you deserve better. But then we get stuck again, like I said, with every other scenario that's coming from the universe that is out of our control. And then you ask yourself, is it even worth it to try to win over the right person? Or should I just continue on with life with just how it is, because I rather just live life because I'm used to the way how things are, and I just don't want to do the effort to be with the right person? There's just many different options and complications that can happen, but then it's in the end up to you what you want to do. So those are just a little bit of insight of what I've been through, and if you have anything that you'd like to share, you can comment down below, and I'm just gonna leave it at there. I'm just going to leave that there. So thank you again for watching, and this is a sign that if you feel that you know someone who you feel like is the right person, maybe you should let them know. And if you think it's the wrong time, don't wait too long to the point that there will be no chance or opportunity to let them know, if that makes sense. Okay, sayonara. It's the end of the video, so don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't, it will help me in the long run. Okay, bye.